Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री चैतन्य चैतामृत की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrit on the occasion of Abhiram Thakur's disappearance day. Adi Leela, chapter 11, text 13. Chapter 11 is titled as The Expansions of Lord Nityananda, and text 13. So I'll just chant and read the translation and purport. Shri Ramadasa Ara Gadadhara Dasa Chaitanya Gosair Bhakta Rahetar Pasha. Two devotees of Lord Chaitanya named Shri Ramadas and Gadadhar Das always lived with Shri Veerabhadra Gosai. Shri Ramdas, later known as Abhiram Thakur, was one of the 12 Gopalas or cowherd boyfriends of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. The Gaura Ganodesha Deepika states that Sri Ramdas was formerly Sri Dama. In Bhakti Ratnakar, 4th wave, there is a description of Srila Abhiram Takhur. By the order of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Abhiram Thakur became a great acharya and preacher of Chaitanya cult of devotional service. He was a very influential personality and non-devotees were very much afraid of him. Empowered by Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he was always in ecstasy and was extremely kind to all fallen souls. It is said that if he offered obeisances to any stone other than a Shaligram Shila, it would immediately fracture. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, 10 miles southwest of Cham, Chanpa, Chanpadanga railway station on the narrow gauge railway line from Howrah in Kolkata to Amta, a village in the Hooghly district, is a small town named Khanakula Krishnanagar, where the temple in which Abhiram Thakur worshipped is situated. During the rainy season, when this area is inundated with water, people must go there by another line, which is now called the South Eastern Railway. On this line, there is a station named Kola Ghat, from which one has to go by steamer to Rani Chakka. 7.5 miles north of Rani Chakka is Khanakula. The temple where Abhiram Thakur worshipped is situated in Krishnanagar, which is near the Kula bank of Khana, Dwarakeshwara river. Therefore, this place is celebrated as Khanakula Krishnanagar. Outside the temple is a bakul tree. This place is known as Siddha Bakul Kunja. It is said that when Abhiram Thakur came there, he sat down under this tree. In Khanakula Krishnanagar, there is a big fair held every year in the month of Chaitra, March April, on the Krishna Saptami, the seventh day of the dark moon. Many hundreds and thousands of people gather for this festival. The temple where Abhiram Thakur worshipped has a very old history. The deity in the temple is known as Gopinath. There are many Sevaita families living near the temple. It is said that Abhiram Thakur had a whip and that whoever he touched with it would immediately become an elevated devotee of Krishna. Among his many disciples, Srinivas Acharya was the most famous and the most dear, but it is doubtful that he was his initiated disciple. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhete giri Yat kripatam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hare Krishna. So today is a special session on the request of devotees. Glories of Abhiram Takhur. So we understand that whenever Lord appears, he does not come alone. He'll always come with his parshad. He'll come with his various associates. Because Lord cannot perform pastimes with us who always keep doing time pass. Yes? So he cannot perform pastimes with us. He has to get his own associates. When there was a discussion in one of the plays it is given, that when Sri Radha and Krishna were having a discussion that we have to go to the earthly planet to perform pastimes. So at that time, this was for Krishna Lila I was talking about. So at that time, Srimati Radharani was like, I'll not come without Govardhan, without Yamuna, without Vrindavan. And Krishna is like, no problem, we'll take all of them. Anyways, we have to take them. So that Goloka Vrindavan manifests here as Bhauma Vrindavan, which is non-different from Goloka Vrindavan. The same Govardhan, the same Yamuna. But then when it comes to Govardhan, Yamuna and all the other pastime places, they're all personalities and they're all attached to Sri Radha and Krishna. And right from the time they have disappeared, all these places are also slowly disappearing. Now the entire place gets disappeared. Then at least we are fortunate we are able to see some places. At least Yamuna is flowing. Obviously very narrow and hardly any water. And Govardhan is also reducing in size every single day. So there will be a time when both will not be there. There will be a time when these pastime places might not exist. Maybe after 10,000 years or I don't know before that, whatever. So which place is going to manifest or become more and more opulent with time in the age of Kali? And the answer given in the Shastra is Navadvip Dham. Because Navadvip Dham is the Kali Yuga Pavan Dham meant for Kali Yuga people and is going to grow day by day. And we can see that. How very wonderfully, under the guidance and blessings of Srila Prabhupada, how the entire Mayapur Dham is growing now. And there's a well-planned city which is going to come up there. A lot of things are going on there. So, when it comes to Lord appearing in Kali Yuga, he appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he does his various wonderful pastimes. Now, when he has to do pastimes, his associates also have to come. So, Nityananda Prabhu, that is Balram himself, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, and Advaita Charya, all of them, the associates of the Lord, and various other associates of the Lord, like his parents, Sachi Mata, Jagannath Mishra, who are non-different than Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda, or Devaki and Vasudev, and various other personalities also. So all of them they came, but one personality didn't come. And I was hearing, so I'm just going to speak what I heard as it is, because I have not read about this particular pastimes of Abhiram Takhur. So this personality, one personality was missing in the entire association of the lordships. So in Jagannath Puri, the Lord was feeling separation from this personality. And this personality's name is Sridham. So when the Lord was feeling separation from him, there were Ashtasattvic Vikara in his body. And Nityananda Prabhu was also present. Nityananda Prabhu has a special instruction, had got a special instruction from the Lord that you don't come to Jagannath Puri, you preach in Navadvip or in that area. And at that time, Nityananda Prabhu said yes, and he goes. And again next year he'll come back. Again, Lord will give him instruction. Again next year he'll come back. So it is described externally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would get angry on Nityananda Prabhu, but Acharyas say that internally he would feel very, very happy and blissful to meet his eternal brother. And like that the pastimes would go on. So on this particular day, when Nityananda Prabhu saw that Mahaprabhu is in complete ecstasy, so that time he's asking, what's happening? What's wrong with you? Vrindavan. And then always a devotee is very eager to mitigate the pain that the Lord goes through. If you remember, when the Lord was going through severe pain, thinking about various living entities of this world, and Haridas Thakur was present there. Haridas Thakur is asking, oh Lord, what happened? And Lord is saying that what will happen to all these living entities? And Haridas Thakur is giving him solace. This is what a devotee can do. He is giving him solace and he is saying, don't worry. Because the holy name that you're propagating is going to deliver all of them. And at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very happy. Oh, thank you very much. Now I'm feeling very blissful. Similarly, here also, Nityananda Prabhu is asking, what am I supposed to do? He said, get Sridham here. Now, where is the Sridham? And then there is a pastime that is narrated in this context. In Krishna Lila, Lord Krishna, Balaram, and the 12 principal Gopas, they were all playing. And this play was the play of hide and seek. I'm sure all of us might have played in our childhood, hide and seek. Such a childhood is so nice, just to remember all these different games. So what happened is all of them were playing. Sridham was also there in that. So if I'm not wrong, it was Krishna Balaram's turn to search. And all of them were hiding. Sridham was hiding in the cave, a mountain cave. And it's described that Krishna Balaram got all of them, but they didn't get Sridham and they didn't notice also. And suddenly they realized, oh, we should go now to Navadvip to perform our pastimes. And all of them, they arrived in Navadvip and they started their pastimes. And this personality, Sridham, remained in the cave. Now it's very difficult to digest also and assimilate that how this happened. What is it happened? He remained there to such an extent that till the point Gauranga Mahaprabhu came and performing his pastime, he's still there in the cave. In his Yoga Nidra. The description says in his Yoga Nidra. Now all this description is given and Nityananda Prabhu is told, go to Vrindavan and get him. Now he's asking, where is the address? Where should I go? He says, go to the Govardhan and there in a cave, one of the caves, there are many, many caves of Govardhan. In one of the caves you will find this personality, Sridham. And Nityananda Prabhu goes there and he's like loudly shouting, Sridham, Sridham, Sridham. Nityananda Prabhu's voice is pretty good. And when the Sridham word enters the ear of Sridham, he comes out of Yoga Nidra and he comes out and he's like, who is calling me? And at that time, Nityananda Prabhu, he says, it's me. And Sridham is asking, who are you? And he says, I'm your Balai. So they used to call Krishna and Balaram, why is this moving so much? So Krishna and Balaram, they would call, all the Gopas would call Krishna and Balaram as Kanai and Balai. He says, I am your Balai, I am your Balaram. He's like, how is it possible? My Balai would be dressed so opulently in his wonderful blue clothes and wonderful ornaments and the garland and other things. You're dressed like a beggar. And also my Balai would be of my height. Now you can imagine, Sridham is of Dwapar Yuga. And here Nityananda Prabhu is playing the role in the age of Kali. So the height, there was a huge difference in the height, it seems. Nityananda Prabhu is looking up and Sridham is looking down and speaking. Now at that time, when Sridham was testing him in various ways, he said, no, I am the same person. He said, okay, let's do Parikrama of Govardhan. And the only person who can actually leave me back in this Parikrama or in this running race is my Balai. If you're really my Balai, then you can do that. And it's described, the race started, 3, 2, 1, and then both of them started. And it's described that, now you can just imagine, for Sridham, his legs are so big, so he can easily go fast. And Nityananda Prabhu's height is less, so he has to match with his speed now. It is described that when Sridham was doing this, running around, please correct me if I'm wrong, so Nityananda Prabhu, he ran around 4 times, fast. And at that time, Sridham understood, oh, he is my Balai only. There's no one else can do this extraordinary feat, which he has done. And then there's a lot of discussion that starts. You can imagine 2 friends meeting after a long time. A lot of discussion starts. He's asking, where is Kanai? Where is Krishna? And then Nityananda Prabhu is very beautifully describing that how he has appeared now as Sri Gauranga in the golden complexion, is performing his pastime now in Jagannath Puri, and he's feeling separation from you. Please come, let's go. And then, I don't know how they traveled and how the height remained the same and how people didn't notice, but they came to Jagannath Puri. And then there's a discussion, there is again a discussion that happens with the Lord, that is Lord Gauranga. And Nityananda Prabhu goes and tells what happened, etc. And then Sridham is waiting. And Lord comes and he's very, very happy to see his Gopa friend. And he goes, and then both of them, they are embracing and fainting. Again, how did they embrace is a question mark. Yes, but they embraced, and they were fainting and crying or whatever. And at that time, to the astonishment of everyone else, whoever was present, whoever could see and to take darshan of this transcendental personality, it is described in one of the place. This is one of the versions that Gauranga and Nityananda, they held the hand and pulled the personality down to their height. Another place I had heard that Nityananda Prabhu with his plow he pulled him down, at the same height. So either of it. So in this way we understand that this personality Sridham manifested, in this pastime also. But then it's a very wonderful thing that he did not take a birth again. And this pastime happened where in the same body he was pulled down, and in the same body he was there doing the pastimes. So Nityananda Prabhu or Gauranga Mahaprabhu, they said, okay, you have not changed the body, but we are going to change your name. And at that time this name was given, Abhiram Takhur. So Sridham became Abhiram. And is described, Nityananda was so happy. He called the other Gopas, who were there in that pastime already. He called all of them. He said, yes, our friend has come back. And all 12 of them were there. It is described these 12 were very unique. The entire team of Nityananda Prabhu was very unique. When they would start from Jagannath Puri, after meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they would be so immersed in Kirtan. They would go in one direction. They will ask people, where is the route to Navadvip or whichever place they're going to. They're doing Kirtan and they'll be keep going that side, and suddenly they'll realize that they're 10 kilometers ahead. And then again they'll ask which direction, and they'll again come back. And this side they'll go another 25 kilometers. Like this for a long time they'll keep doing Kirtan, immersed all the time. And all of them, they had some special extraordinary activities which they would do. One of the Parshad, one of the associate I was hearing, that he would sit on the tiger and go around to preach. Now just imagine if you sit on a tiger and go around and tell people, chant Hare Krishna. They will chant for sure. This personality would go around like this. One of the associates, not Abhiram, one of the associate. And once it seems in the middle of the night, this associate went to the Qazi on the tiger and he slapped him. Get up, chant Hari Hari. It's the middle of the night, I'll chant tomorrow Hari Hari. And then he says, you already chanted Hari Hari, you're delivered. The only goal of all the associates of Nityananda Prabhu was somehow or the other deliver all the people of the age of Kali. This is going around, and one such personality is Abhiram Takhur. Now this was about Abhiram Takhur. Abhiram or Sridham's wife's name was Vrindavati. So Abhiram was telling that, how can I live here for long without Vrindavati? He said, where is Vrindavati? Lord is asking. She is there in Vrindavan. He said, okay, go and get her. So Abhiram goes to Vrindavan, and then again there is a nice interaction with Vrindavati. And he says that our Lord Krishna is performing pastime in Navadvip, in Jagannath Puri. We have to go there. And she's like, how will I go from here? Now again, Sridham or Abhiram, they're all mystical, they're all transcendental with amazing powers. So what he did was, he chanted some mantra, and because of that mantra, Vrindavati became of the same size of Abhiram. And now it is described that how Abhiram transported Vrindavati to Navadvip Dham, to that place. He got a wooden box and he asked her, you get inside this. He locked that wooden box and just floated in Yamuna and said, go to Navadvip. And it's described that it goes to that place somewhere near Navadvip, the place which Prabhupada is describing, Khanakula Krishnanagar, this place. I think this we have to, there's some problem here, we have to fix this. Okay, it's okay. ये टाइट किया आप, लूज किए. ठीक है, आप कीजिए, मैं बात. So it is described that how Vrindavati floated and she came to that place, and there was a gardener, Mali. And then there's some problem. Leave it. So Malik found this box, and when he found this box and got it on the shore or to his garden, it is described that his garden was drying up from a long time. As soon as he kept this box, immediately, it's almost like fairy tale which we would see in the childhood. Immediately, the entire garden was filled with flowers. All the plants, were filled with flowers. The trees were filled with fruits, and he could make out this box is not ordinary. And when he opened the box, he found Vrindavati. And since he was Mali found Vrindavati, her name became Malini. And Malini, this particular gopi, she was there in the house of this particular gardener. And it is described just by the presence of this transcendental personality. This gardener was advancing very wonderfully, both spiritually and materially. Now, when materially someone grows, automatically there will be many envious people around. There were many other Brahmanas who were getting very envious, and they were thinking, what's going on? And they went and complained to Kazi that this person had got some treasure in a golden box and he is not given to you. You are the king, you should get it. And then he was called, this Mali was called, and this king, this Kazi was asking that what is the problem, what is going on? I heard that there is something which I am supposed to get and you have got it. And it's described, it's okay, bro, I'll hold and speak. And it's described that the Mali, he started explaining that I did not get a golden box as you have heard, I got a wooden box. And there was no treasure in that, there was a transcendental gopi in that. And she is there in my home, whom I am worshipping. Every day, he would take care of her in various ways. And now Kazi wanted to meet her. Now this Mali is saying, you are a Mlecha, how can she meet you? She cannot meet you. And there's a long discussion, and then there's a description given about this lady, and Kazi understood, oh, she's not an ordinary personality. And he started paying obeisance and asking forgiveness to Mali, please forgive me. I was not knowing that you're so fortunate to host such a transcendental personality. And he requested, begged, and Mali went and then told Malini or Vrindavati that he's requesting that you please come. And it is a long story cut short. She gives some conditions. I'll be staying only in the cow shed. I'll not be going inside the house. This is the sweet rice is the thing that I'll eat, etc., etc. And it's described that Malini left the house, and she will be adopted now by the Kazi. And here the Mali faints. She goes to the house there. Another lot of pastimes happens there. And she was very, very beautiful and very amazing in her powers. And Kazi accepted her as his daughter, as the adopted daughter. So different pastimes are going on here again. Now, Abhiram, when he started from Vrindavan, he comes by walking. Now he thinks, okay, yes, she might have reached. All these pastimes already happened. He was absorbed in Vrindavan pastimes. He comes, and through various places he keeps going. So there is one place, where Krishna's deity was there, and it's described when Abhiram reaches there, he was so absorbed in Krishna Leela. And as soon as he sees the deity, he wants to serve the deity, and in that mood he takes chamar, and is described continuously, almost for 9 hours or so, he started doing the chamar. And all the people around, they could understand that he is not an ordinary personality. A pure devotee of the Lord is here. So like this, he will go to different places, and as Prabhupada said here, that if he offered obeisances to a deity, which is not properly worshipped, where the Lord is not present, that deity would crack. Prabhupada uses the word fracture. Shaligrams, if those are not shaligrams, this ordinary stones, the shaligrams would fracture. So in this way, different pastimes he did throughout. Everyone got to know, this is a different personality altogether. And he had another very wonderful thing also, that if he pays obeisance to someone, and if that personality is not a pure devotee, then that person would die. How fearful this would be if this personality comes and we do Vancha Kalpataru, everyone together. So this particular pastime he was doing, and finally he reached this place. Now, let's come back to Malini. Malini and her other friends, she got friends also, they were all playing in the waters. And Abhiram came and he was on the other side of the shore. other side of the river, I should say. And he was sitting, and then he was in his own meditation. Malini, after all the eternal concert, she got to know that Abhiram has come, or my Sridham has come. It is described that in front of all the other friends who were there, she jumped inside the water and she swam across the entire river and she reached the other side. And all the girls, they're going mad. What happened to her suddenly? How come she swam across the entire river so fast? She went there and she sat just beside Sridham or Abhiram. And then this news went to Kazi. And when the news went to Kazi that there is a sannyasi, and besides the sannyasi, your daughter is sitting and looking at him. So Kazi came running there. And then he started blaspheming or chastising this personality, Sridham. And he started saying that what sort of sannyasi you are? You're sitting beside a girl. Go out from here. And he started saying a lot of things. And it's described that there was huge log of wood that came floating, which was very, very heavy. Description says tons of weight was there. So that came floating. And Abhiram, just to show his prowess to Kazi, he went and he picked up that log with his one hand, he kept it on the shore. And then he touched it and made it small into a flute with 8 holes, and he started playing the flute. Now Kazi is looking, what's happening around. And then to add more masala into this pastime, Malini got up from there, another log of wood was coming. She picked it from one hand, she kept it on the shore. And Kazi understood that they are made for each other, because no one can match each other's prowess. So in this way, both Vrindavati and Sridham, they were reunited in this pastime. And then we hear the various other pastimes of Abhiram Takhur. So Abhiram Takhur was always absorbed in preaching the message of the Lord, always absorbed. It is described that when a devotee is absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord, it is described that the devotee gets amazing prowess in various ways, amazing powers in various ways. Here also we can see that in one of the purports I was reading yesterday, that when a devotee keeps speaking about Lord Sri Krishna all the time, he gets a prowess in such a way that by just his speech, he can transform the hearts of people. You can do that later, Bo. Everyone is watching you. They're not interested to see me. Yes. So it is described that when a devotee keeps speaking only about Krishna, he gets the power to transform the hearts of people. And we can see all our acharyas in the past. They were so glorious, always immersed in Krishna Katha, hearing and speaking, that anyone who would come in touch with them, they would get transformed completely. And A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada is an example. When Prabhupada goes to West, just by his speech, that too a speech which hardly people could understand, he could transform people. Abhiram, we can understand, he is the eternal associate of the Lord. He was always absorbed, and Prabhupada here he writes that by the order of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Abhiram Thakur became a great acharya and the preacher of Chaitanya cult of devotional service. So Abhiram was always immersed in Krishna Lila, always immersed in thinking about the Lord and serving the Lord. So as soon as he would hear that there is a pure devotee, he always had this mood that I will go and meet and pay my obeisance. So one such pastime is of Raghunandan. I'm sure all of you know this personality, a small boy, son of Mukunda Sarkar. So Mukunda Sarkar had a deity and he would offer bhoga every day. But one day, he was going out. He told his son Raghunandan, you feed the Lord today. And it's described that this Raghunandan, he got the laddus from his mother and he went inside the altar, a small boy but very pure in his heart. He goes and offers the bhoga and then he's sitting there and waiting. He is expecting the Lord will sit and start eating. But the Lord is still standing and he starts crying. Can you imagine the purity of these small kids? And obviously he is a great personality who becomes a great personality even in the future. So Raghunandan, he starts crying and he says, when my father offers you, you eat. When I'm offering, you're not eating. And the purity was so great that the Lord spoke in the form of the deity that I've already eaten. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. I've already eaten by glancing at it. He said, I don't understand all this philosophy. You sit and eat. And it's described that he cried so much and argued so much with the Lord that Lord was made to sit and eat whatever there was there in the plate. And then he takes the empty plate to his mother. Mother is asking, where is Prasad? He's asking, Lord ate everything. Now she was puzzled. Mukunda Sarkar came from whatever work he went for. He came back, and then he's calling out his wife, "Get me Prasad, I'm hungry." And she's saying, "You ask your son where is Prasad." And then he's asking, and Raghunandan is saying that Lord ate everything. Again, it is described that laddus were made and given to Raghunandan just to check did he eat or Lord ate. And Mukunda again, he is not an ordinary personality. Even he is a very, very great personality. Anyone who is there in Navadvip Leela here, you have to understand, is not an ordinary personality. All of them are filled with love for the Lord. Mukunda, he was hiding and so he's seeing from the window. Raghunandan enters with the laddus and he keeps there, and again he starts crying, "You have to eat." And Lord is saying, "I already ate so much. Now again you have to eat. Because my father is testing me. If you don't eat now, everyone will feel that I have eaten it. So you have to eat." And then, for the amazement of Mukunda Sarkar, Lord sat and started eating the laddu. And when Lord was eating, and when he saw Mukunda, he kept the laddu, and again he came in the deity form. So at that time, Mukunda understood how great Raghunandan is. So when Mukunda met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him a question, that you are father of Raghunandan or Raghunandan is your father? At that time, this Mukunda is saying that, "Oh Lord, actually Raghunandan is my father. Is anyone who teaches about Krishna consciousness is actually the father, and he has taught me how to worship the Lord." And this news, this glory of Raghunandan goes around to every place, and it falls in the ear of Abhiram Takhur. Now Abhiram Takhur is very happy to hear about a pure devotee, and he comes there to that place, and the news is given to the mother, to Mukunda, and Mukunda tells his wife that Abhiram Thakur is going to come. He wants to meet our son and pay his obeisances, his pranams. And everyone there are in great fear that what is going to happen now. Because everyone knew the power of Abhiram, that if he pays obeisance to someone and if he is not a pure devotee, he is khalas. But still Abhiram comes. Both Mukunda and his wife, they decide that we'll transport Raghunandan to some other place. And they did that. They dropped him to some other village. Now Abhiram Thakur comes, and then they say, "No, he's not there, he has gone to some other relative's house. There's no problem, I'll sit here and wait for him." He goes outside the village under a tree and he's waiting. And Raghunandan, he's another pure devotee. He runs away from that house, and it is described, he comes to the same place where Abhiram Thakur is there. And both of them, when they see each other, so Abhiram Thakur was not knowing who this personality is, asked, who are you? And he says, "I'm Raghunandan." And then he pays obeisance. Vancha kalpatarobhyascha. And when the obeisance was paid, Raghunandan was still alive. He also paid obeisance, and both of them paying obeisance to each other. Everyone gets to know about this incident. And it was proved that how great Raghunandan was. And how great Abhiram is, that as soon as he hears about a pure devotee, he wants to meet them and offer his obeisances. Can you imagine if we had this power? We'll never get one, but still I'm saying. We had this power that we pay obeisance to a deity who cracks, to some devotee, and the devotee dies if he's not a pure devotee. How much ghaman we would have, how much pride we would have. And look at this great personality, Abhiram. Even after having all this prowess, he was humble, very humble. The qualification to enter the pastimes of the Lord is humility. Without dainyata, without humility, no one can enter the pastime of the Lord, not possible. Tinge of pride, Krishna left Radharani and all the gopis in the Rasasthali in the middle of the night. Yes. And here is an example. Such a great humility Abhiram Thakur is showing. And Abhiram Thakur's deity Gopinath manifested in a different way. So when Abhiram was there, when Abhiram and Malini met, so that same place, Abhiram got a dream that Gopinath is speaking to him, that I've been buried in this place from a long, long time. Please come and please take me out from here. And it's described that they go to the same place, they dug that place, and the deity of Gopinath manifests. And that day, Malini gives the name, to that place. And this was the place. What is that name? Khana Kula Krishna Nagar. Now she was asked, why this Khana and Kula and Krishna Nagar? Because that place was named as Kazi, Kazi Nagar or something. She changed it to this. She told the Kazi, sometimes when I was given some sweets which I would not like, Khana, I would bury it in this place, that is Kula, the bank. So Khana Kula, why Krishna? Because Krishna manifested here, Krishna Nagar. So Khana Kula Krishna Nagar. And in that place, this deity is still worshipped, it seems, the Gopinath deity, very nicely. And this is how the deity manifested. Nice, no? He dream mein, there's a deity that is coming, I am here, worship me. You can imagine the glories of Abhiram Thakur. And the final thing that is mentioned here is about his whip. Anyone knows the name of the whip? Whip is not given here. What Mangal? He had a whip. Anyways, some Mangal. Chaitanya Mangal? No, Chaitanya Mangal is a book. You can maybe search and let me know. So, Jai Mangal. Yes. So, anyone whom he would hit with this or touch, no, not hit, touch, it is described that person would get filled with Krishna Prem and will start dancing. Now, Srinivas Acharya's name is mentioned here. This is the last pastime which I would like to tell and end. Srinivas Acharya is one of the trios of book distributor. Who all were there in the trio? Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur and Shyaman Pandit. So this Srinivas Acharya happened to come, to this place, Navadvip. Janava Ma was there at that time. Nityananda Prabhu was not there. Janava was there, who was the wife of Nityananda Prabhu. And Janava directed Srinivas Acharya, you go to Abhiram. And she sent the message to Abhiram that please shower your mercy onto him. Now Abhiram, since he was supposed to take the position of a guru, so he said, okay, I'll test him. So some coins were sent to him and asked to cook for himself. And Abhiram sent his two of his other disciples or servants, go and test him. Go at the time when the bhoga is offered and he's about to eat. And it's described that the two personalities came at the right time. And when they came to that place, with a wholehearted mood, Srinivas Acharya, he served both of them the prasad that was made. And they both eat. And it's described, they were so satisfied by eating that prasad. And they go back and give the report, how they tested. So they said that we tested and tasted also. And that taste is transcendental. For sure, it is not the ordinary food. It is tasted by Krishna himself. And you know what? He served the prasad what was meant for him. And he never felt bad even a bit. And Abhiram was very happy. And he was called there. He said, okay, get Srinivas Acharya here. And Srinivas Acharya was got to his house. Srinivas Acharya is paying obeisance. Abhiram took his whip, Jai Mangal, and he hit him. And it's described that Srinivas Acharya, he was filled with Krishna Prem. And he was rolling on the ground. And Abhiram Thakur was so happy with him, he gave another slash on his body. And Srinivas Acharya was again, was jumping and crying. And is described, one more he gave. And Srinivas Acharya fainted. And one more he was about to give, and Malini came, "Arey, you'll kill him, don't do this." So in this way, can you imagine Srinivas Acharya, such a great personality. Abhiram Thakur, such a great personality. Two pure devotees meeting together in this place. Khana Kula Krishna Nagar. And these are the personalities who are there in our Guru Parampara. And we are part of this Parampara. So whenever we hear about these personalities, we should always meditate that I am in this Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, where personality like Abhiram Thakur has appeared, where personality like Srinivas Acharya has appeared. What is my qualification to be in this parampara? And the only answer that will come is Yogyata vichare kichu nai pae tumara karuna sar. The only qualification that we have is we have the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. The only reason why we are there in ISKCON as a part of Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, the only reason is Prabhupada's causeless mercy. At least, I don't know about you all, at least I am nowhere qualified to be connected to this glorious parampara. Can you imagine how can we be part of this parampara where such wonderful personalities have appeared? They were there in Chaitanya Leela. After Chaitanya Leela, after some time Srinivas Acharya and others appeared. After that, we have this wonderful parampara and our Srila Prabhupada at the end. If you just see the sketch, the life sketch of any of the Acharya, we will see that how glorious each one of them were. That's a very, very important thing to meditate on this and pray to Abhiram Thakur on his wonderful Tithi of Tirobhav that I'm nowhere qualified not to be in this parampara. If possible, please get your whip and whip me as many times as you want. And please bestow your mercy so that I can do justice as a Gaudiya Vaishnav in this wonderful parampara of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya ISKCON Sampradaya. Because these personalities, it is described on these special occasions of appearance and disappearance, they are very, very merciful and they shower their causeless mercy. So, this auspicious day of Abhiram Thakur's disappearance, let's pray to him that he showers his blessings unto us so that we can do justice of being part of this parampara and serving this parampara till our last breath. Thank you very much. Srila Abhiram Thakur ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Any pastime which you all know, which I have not narrated? What do you know? You have heard anything else apart from this? Oh, okay. The same thing is given here, the same Bakul tree, Siddha Bakul Kunja. Joy. Thank you. Any other pastime anyone remembers? Okay, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrit ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.